I've one of the biggest hedges in crypto for me is thinking Hive, because everyone copy pastas Ethereum. A virtual machine on layer one, try to cram everything on layer one, and guess what? Sue says this, and I have respect for him. He has AVAX, AVAX. It's well known in public. He got an OTC deal below market value when it was 10x less value than it is today. This guy can say one coin and it'll pump 10x. I'm not judging. That's just the facts. So AVAX is now top 10 crypto. It wasn't before he got into it. Now it's at $10 a transaction and climbing. People are using it. It's a layer 2 solution. So, and I've gotten into this, not to harp on it for too long, but I've gotten into the fact that if you have a broken layer 1, aka the high ass fees, then your layer 2s have to be their own layer 1s. There is no layer 2 if you have high fee layer 1, because the layer 2 has to have layer 1 security, because it gets no security from the Ethereum side. Very little, because you interact with the blockchain as little as possible. Whereas with Splinterlands, they can interact with the blockchain as much as they want. They don't have to, bunch of shit on the edge of something real thin that can break, aka lumping a bunch of transactions and then pinging Ethereum the least amount of times possible to save on gas fees. And that's why Hive is one of the greatest hedges in crypto, because it's actually doing it right. Layer 2 smart contracts, layer 1 that's fast and feeless. Therefore, the layer 2s don't need to make their own layer 1 security. Layer 2 can actually be a layer 2. Because what you're going to get is you got a layer 1 on Ethereum, and then you got a layer 2, but it's really a layer 1. And then you're going to have a layer 3 to scale the layer 2. And eventually you're going to have a layer 5 to scale to layer 4 and 3. And it gets to be insane. So...
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Hive's going in the opposite direction to this as well, from the point of view that all I can see, how one of the core devs has just built a system to delegate resource credits. So resource credits become even more abundant, which means the thing can scale even more and onboard people even more easily. And then you've got the Speak network, which will be encouraging and providing facilities for people to post a shitload of their content off-chain. Especially stuff that they don't think they're going to need in the future, or comments that they won't need, or so really the only things that are going to be stored on chain are the real hardcore things that are absolutely necessary to be stored on chain. So with the resource credits combined with the off-chain storage and the incentivization of that off-chain storage, hopefully with the Speak network, you're going to have very little on chain that doesn't need to be there. And so as a result, the chain really can scale like another 10x more on top of where it's already done a 10x and a 10x on the efficiency and how it can scale over the last year. So it's really, and you look at Splinterlands already, the biggest play-to-earn game in blockchain, 4 million transactions a day, and Hive's like barely even getting out of bed. It's like, oh, okay. Most of the other chains are going to struggle with that. And then on top of that, we've probably built another 10x or maybe even 100x inside the chain. And then on top of that, we've built the Speak network as well, and resource credit delegations and all these other things. The thing's ready, it's ready to scale. It's built for scaling. And a lot of these other chains haven't addressed that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Task, you got anything for that?
No, I mean, you guys nailed it. I mean, that's something that in our interviews with Block Trades, he mentioned that was his focus since day one, to make the, after the hard fork and everything that was settled then, his focus was to make the blockchain less costly to operate and to give it the scaling capabilities. And Ethereum on Crypto Maniacs, we had Marky on this week, and he's done a lot of stuff on Ethereum. And he said, listen, there's a ton of money there. I've always made money on anything I've done over there, but it's just the utility's not there because it's just so expensive to transact. And I mean, I think Dan was the one who said, that's going to be a banker chain. And I agree with that. The bankers, especially with the convergence to proof of stake, some people are starting to wake up and say, I got some pretty good stake on Ethereum, but my voice is zero because I'm nothing compared to these other stakes there. Oh, wait till Wall Street gets in full tilt with all their dollars. They'll end up with all the stake.
Yeah,
they don't mind
the Ethereum Exactly. The Ethereum Foundation controls the chain when it switches to proof of stake. You can just look at the top wallets. You can't hide the centralization of tokens. That's the one thing about blockchain. You can't hide the centralization of tokens. Go look at the top balances, ask who they are. If you have a top 10 and you don't know who any of them are, you can assume they're ETH Foundation, right? Like, you have to assume that because they had a pre-mine, an ICO. It was known that Joe Lubin bought at the ICO. And, I really like Vitalik. I love the whole movement, but you also have to understand, like, is it being a Baker chain, is that a bad thing? Well, I don't know. The Swift system sucks. If you're going to have a centralized type hybrid, then that would be better in my opinion. But it's just, that's exactly what's going to happen. The fees are going to get really high. And what happens? You force it to be a layer 2, and the layer 2s are going to be the Chase banks that can eat the fees to take your data and to hold your balances. So then they can, take your balances and make money off of it. That's how banks do. They take your money and they make money off of it. And then they leverage the money they have to get 10x more money in the bank that they don't have. And that's why you have all these futures and the paper Bitcoin. And, they're sinking their tentacles. It's very obvious what's happening. But yeah, we have hedges out there where you don't need a Chase bank as a layer 2, aka some large centralized entity that can give you the user experience. And, Splinterlands is proving that massively by being the most popular thing in crypto user-wise. And their users aren't paying a damn thing. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And it's great.